So let's see. Is it all right? So that was a little taste of Origen. That wasn't one of our songs, but that was just I took that bass line from Descarga Cubana. So that's like a rumba, right? You would say. Orlando's an expert, honestly, on all the Latin stuff. So anytime you have any questions, don't ask me. You gotta ask him. So anyway, my name is Diego Bakudan Rivera, and I was part of the artist in residence project. Benoit, the way it started was, let me pull up. I have a picture of like what I'm going to talk about. The way it started was back in December. I had played here with another group called Redshift, and after that, I was able to get in touch with Benoit, and he had kind of texted me, and we started talking, and he was like, "Hey, I want to come up with, I want you to come up with a Latin project to perform for the Latin Jazz Festival that I'm going to host in April." And I was like, okay, that sounds really cool, right? So what does it entail? And he was like, well, I just want you to tell the story of what it's like to be Latin in Florida, like in Orlando. I want you to express that in a show. So not just music, but a show that has spoken word, there's visuals, all that stuff. So here's the first one, actually. Oh, and this person right here, this is Giselle. Can you hear me, Giselle? So, Giselle, I needed a singer, right? I needed somebody who could do poetry, spoken word, somebody who could do all that. So, it was the beginning of the year. It was like February, and I was like, okay, I really need people for this project, right? So, I started texting everybody that I knew that I thought could do it. You know what I mean? That I was like, oh, they're probably not going to be too busy. They're going to be able to put in the work, but I couldn't find a vocalist. So I asked Orlando. I was like, "Hey, Orlando, do you know any great vocalists?" And he was like, "Well, check this girl out." And it was Giselle. It was a video of her doing, Santera. That was That's her song, right? Her original, playing with Orlando. And I was like, "Well, she has the energy. She has everything. Okay, that was cool." So it was kind of like what I'm saying is I didn't have much time to really do a ton of research on, oh, okay, let me pick between these people. The time frame was so short, and things were already kind of starting a little bit late just because of how things were working out. Things were kind of starting so late that we just didn't really have time to really nitpick and choose. So I was glad that Orlando introduced me to Giselle, and she was a great addition. The project basically came to be was I was thinking, I had to think of a name. I had to think of all this stuff. So I was like, let me come up with a project that kind of delves into the origins of Latin music everywhere, all over Latin America, including the Caribbean. We also have some stuff from South America, which we're going to get into. My saxophonist here, Daniel, he's Venezuelan. So we have Venezuelan music in this show as well. So let me not get ahead of myself. So how did I get everybody together, right? I had to call people that I know could get the job done. So I was like, okay, who's a bass player that I can rely on? Nelson. I was calling all these people. Actually, what's funny, communication, the importance of a good communication tool, WhatsApp. I was using WhatsApp. So for everybody here, I'm like kind of like looking up, but everyone's really here in the front row. WhatsApp is super important. In this project specifically, I needed a tool that I would be able to communicate with everybody, a group chat that I could do different things. So, for example, polls, that was a really big factor. I literally invited everybody to a WhatsApp group chat, and I said, hey, this is the deal. Can you do it or not? And these are the people who ended up being able to do it. Sal Martinez is usually on piano. He's not here tonight. He was busy. I also usually have two more horn players, Paul Van Wormer, who's currently playing with AJ McLean and Joey Fatone at Epcot right now, and Miguel Fantin, right? Fantin. Sorry, Miguel Fantin. He has another obligation right now, but he's my trombone player. So that brings me to my next point, which is kind of like adapting, right? So I didn't have everybody. I couldn't have everybody here tonight, but I wasn't gonna be like, okay, let's just not do it. Like, no, you still have to do it. You know what I mean? You still have to go through with your obligations. So, that's what we had to do. I also wanted to throughout this is an open dialogue, by the way, so we can all talk. You can ask questions about every single thing, every step of the process. Um, it's going to be a combination of us playing some of the music and also just talking about the music. So honestly, I want to start. I want to start with some more playing. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to jump in. We're going to talk about the visual arts stuff soon. I'm going to need to be reminded about all this stuff because I have a tendency to just forget and just move on from all these things. But anyway, let's start. The first tune, right? So, okay, the first meeting that Origen had was at a friend of Orlando's place. And we only had, what was it? I think it was 3 charts. We only had 2 charts already chosen. But the way that it went was I was on WhatsApp. I was like, all right, guys, we need to get like the first rehearsal in right now. We need to read something together. I need to get the vibe of the group. So we picked out a date, picked out a time. All right, let's just do it. So again, this is the beginning of the spring semester for me. I'm at UCF right now. So everything was already moving really fast. These guys were also at UCF. Daniel's still at UCF. Nelson is still at UCF. So all these guys are college guys that I met, right, throughout my basically college career. Except Orlando, I've known for like 3 years, right? Forever, basically. Ever since I've been going to Polaris. Right. So the first tune that we read was actually called Old Cacique, and it was an original it is an original of Orlando Sanchez. And this actually brings me to my next point. The lyrics, right? I didn't come up with the lyrics. That was Giselle. Giselle, who's right here. Can you see the screen, Giselle, through the YouTube? Can you see it? Okay, so Old Cacique, could you possibly explain a little bit about what was your inspiration for the lyrics for this?
Of course. Everyone can hear me okay? Yeah. Awesome. So when I started looking up just Taino history and just everything that happened, they came from peace. And their name, how they put here by definition, means good. And their kindness is what made unfortunately what happened to them so horrible because they were giving. And when I wrote this poem, it was just like everything I had researched, it was like their name was so good, and yet how it backfired on them and how they welcomed everyone. So I looked up the language, and I started like, okay, it was actually a really, I'm obsessed with languages. I sang opera before, so I've sung in Italian, German, and I was looking at their language, and there was a class online. And so I started taking the class, and I figured out how to say I am Taino, which is Wahotito ka Taino. And so it was asking, are you Taino? It was not just a name, it was a declaration. Taino, by definition, good. And basically by asking, when they said no, that's kind of the start of the end, when the Spaniards came. And so that's kind of the quick of the poem.
Right. So, and what is a cacique? What is that?
It's the same that you call the chief in the Indians. The cacique is the chief. In the Indian Taino from the Caribbean, area. It's like that is Venezuela, the islands of the Antilles, the major Antilles like Puerto Rico, Cuba, Santo Domingo, all the ones, and that in that language, cacique was the chief.
So we play this one, I'm kind of thinking like if you look at the art too, an old cacique is somebody who's tired and been through a lot, been through war, struggle, who's been trying to lead his people, but it's like it's somber because of the history. We know that those people were enslaved by the Spaniards. We know that terrible things happened to the women, the children, everything. You can look up the history, and that was part of the intention behind it. I'm assuming is that it's supposed to kind of express that feeling and that vibe. So I want to play a little bit of it for you. We're gonna start. Honestly, I want to start at the A section. I just want you to hear some of it. So, and in order to hear, I'm not gonna play full entire pieces because I want to encourage all of you to come out to our show next week. It's at the Blue Bamboo. It's on the 5th of September. Also, I believe 7:30 p.m. Ticket link is up and everything, so we'll be playing the full show as well as more over there. But I digress. Let's play a little bit. Yeah, let's start A with the melody. 1, 2. There's another part. There's another part of it that I want to demonstrate, just really quick. There's an open vamp section, and there's a cool native drum thing. What would you describe that as that we play?
I'm sorry. My English is not very good looking. What you said again?
What is the drum pattern that you and I are playing at the do-gu-do, 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 do-gu-do? What would you say?
That's more the Andes. It's go to the native Indians in the area of what we call the Andes, like Incas from Peru, from that area. They call the Andes because the mountains, Everything's surrounded like Colombia, Chile, Bolivia, Peru. Those native Indians, Mapuche from Chile, everybody, is the Andes. One of the rhythms of the native Indians are this one, like we're doing over here. So it's a mix between, because Taino, they were killed, But it's a sad story I don't want to tell you, but I taken this from the other India in the side of South America, anyway.
So let's play that one. When Giselle's usually singing and vocalizing at this part, but let's just play this one really quick where I'm playing on the floor tom, and that's kind of emulating another native drum, whereas he's playing his native drum, and I'm playing this, which is emulating another one, as if it was in an ensemble. So I'll demonstrate that really quick with Orlando. That's another one, and you see there's kind of a communication. I put my own flair into it. That's what I like to do, and Orlando is honestly the one holding everything down. So that's the first tune that we play, and so the next one. This is not going to be the order, by the way, for the Blue Bamboo show. We're not doing it in this order, but before we do this one, I would like to continue with my talking points. So I already talked about communication. Number 4, I didn't list them in numbers, but we're on number 4 now. You don't got to worry about it. We're on number 4. So giving the correct information promptly. So I was receiving tons of information from Benoit, just we'd be texting back and forth, emailing back and forth, and he was giving me all the information like right when he got it. I was trying to provide the group chat with as much of that information as possible in a timely manner, right? Because as soon as you get something, you have to let your people know right away, hey, we're going to be here at this date, lock this date in, do this. Hey, guys, learn this music. So that was actually a challenge for me, was communicating on time and with the right information. Because sometimes, as some people pointed out, actually, not some people, it's this guy right here, Rob. No, I'm kidding. He knows. I'm just joking with him. He pointed out, and it was true, I would be texting walls of text to the group chat, and some things, information would get lost, you know? And so he knows I'm just picking on him right now, but he made me aware. He was like, hey, man, like, and this is important, actually, because this has to do with how everyone contributed to the group, right? Rob let me know, hey, try to keep the information a little more condensed, and, you know, don't give us so many things at once, because it just gets lost in the group chat, you know? And honestly, I was doing a bad job at kind of calling everybody and letting them know about all that stuff. So, yeah, that was that was giving the correct information promptly. Number 5, time management and delegating roles to certain individuals, right? So I didn't have the time to write all of the original tunes. That first one wasn't my tune. That was Orlando, who graciously was like, hey, I have this album. Check this out. What would you want to do from here? And so I checked out the album. I was like, I really like this one. I think this would fit well with the show. So we did that. And like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but Daniel wrote some tunes. Our pianist, Sal, wrote some tunes. And this next one that we're going to demonstrate really quick is something I wrote. This is titled Cayuco. And just to explain, Cayuco is a Taino word for a riverboat. That it wasn't a giant boat that would be crossing like the ocean, but traversing rivers, right? And traversing, rivers, lakes, anything that was in the area that was easily traversable. It was made out of a log, wood carved out. And so the reason why I call it that is because this one is kind of a little bit adventurous. The time signature is different than what you would usually hear. So if we count, right, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it starts with a vamp, you know. I like to start stuff with vamps. So let's just play, and then I'll talk about it after. So that's just the first part. There's a lot more that's gonna happen. It's gonna be that's like the first half. I have my own solo on there and everything. So that little thing at the end there, I wasn't gonna tell them I was going to swing, but I added that swing element just because I really like how swung 7 sounds, as well as just taking a fast swing. You know what I mean? Convert like switching between Latin and swung. I think it sounds pretty cool in certain contexts like this one. So that's why I made that decision. Let's see. So that's my tune. It's an instrumental one, no lyrics. And the next one is I'll Recognize by the Art Piece. I believe, yeah, Odie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he says 7, this is the thing that most of the people say. Why these old guys here in between these young virtuosos talented in this band? So Diego and his dad, that is my buddy, my girlfriend, they decide to hire me because I'm a like you call like self-teach, like autodidacta in Spanish. I don't know in English how you say. This guy, they study in the, and they know how to read. I read a little bit, in my in my history. I gotta be a band director, a lot of salsa, greatest singer. But then when he saw I'm gonna play this in 7, and the way that I how you say, develop in this business, so I'm more folklore culture, not like I went to university to. Yeah, I read a little bit, but not like this guy. But then the balance of being like people say, no, I play by ear. It's not just by ear. It's about folklore. It's about different, like I play Arabic, I play African, I play Brazilian, and I was 20 years in Disney doing all percussion, all the instruments for different, cultures. When he said I do a 7, I was thinking in something that I know about Swahili, that was Africa, that I see the ladies, the kids, following this 7. They don't know what is 1 or what is 7 or nothing. And there's like what we call it the clave, and you can clap this because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, and then they do like something that a clave. I say pom papa, pom pom papa, pom pom papa, pom pom papa, pom. You can clap that if you want. Pom papa, pom pom papa, pom pom papa, papa, pom papa, pom papa. I say, pom, pom. And see, you're not a musician, but you feel it because when they teach me how to understand that in the reading, it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. I'm like, no, I want to feel like the African, like oh yeah, that, and that's different. Some things you cannot learn in the university on the student is the feel, is the language, Like Arabic got a language, the Latin stuff and Afro-Cuban got a language, everything got a language. And then is the thing that when you gotta pay your dues. If you wanna have the best of the two worlds, you gotta pay your dues and study the cultures. When you change to one thing to the another, it's just not about counting numbers. Because sometimes when I count the number, I feel like a robot, like mathematics. But when I go to the culture, my soul fly, And that's the balance of this thing, like the folklore, the culture, and that's why this old guy is here.
Like what you just said, that's why Orlando is here. So, and that also what he was playing, I didn't tell him what to play. I don't think I really have told Orlando what to play this entire time. I mean, he adds exactly what is needed. So that's why if you're making a project for somebody my age, or if there's anybody my age watching this, surround yourself with people who know more than you. Because I didn't know. I was just thinking, the way that I came up with that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. I wasn't thinking, oh well, there's a Swahili rhythm that fits into that, And so that was his contribution. So that brings me to my other point. Actually, was oh well, before that, if I go to point number 6 here, getting rehearsal times chosen and locking everything down. So that was a little bit of a challenge because people are super busy, right? So when you have a group that's like 9 people, there's bound to be times where we don't, you know what I mean? One person's not going to be there. Somebody's going to be late. We might have to change the day sporadically. Oh, I accidentally double booked myself. You know, et cetera. Like I've done that. I've done that. And so all these guys are working musicians. So that was another challenge, was trying to find times. But Orlando provided his house. Nelson provided his house. So these people helped me with the process. You know, if I was like, all right, guys, I need to find a rehearsal space to pay for, you know, boom, boom, boom. That's a whole other thing. But the fact that they were like, oh yeah, just come to my house. Nelson's family provided us food. That's something that we have to talk about. You know what I mean? I'm not just going to be like, oh yeah, so it was all me. It was majority. It was like 50-50. I came up with the idea. I put the project together, but I needed the help of all these people. Not only with that, but also with the songs. For instance, with Orlando's contribution to my song.
You know, and after my third divorce, my house is.
It's open for all the musicians, right? Like, 'cause we get no complaining now. You know, we could play for whenever, wherever. So, no, I'm kidding. But, okay, so the next one, Origen Evolution, that's Sal's original, right? And you know what? I want to come back to Giselle here. Giselle, can you explain what you were thinking when you were writing the lyrics for this one? Because I see, nadie ve, nadie siente, right? What is this? Very insightful comments.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So basically, this one I was talking to Sal a lot. Like, what were you picturing for this? And he gave me a lot of liberty, but I was basically no one sees, no one feels, and sometimes it feels that way. And so I wanted to write just about how there's like a mask over when there's too much going on. Sometimes it feels like we become numb. And so that's sort of what the song starts off. And like there's so many parts to Sal's piece, and then it comes back, repeats twice, and then it changes at the end each time about not seeing, about not feeling, about not hearing each other. And just the overwhelm of like everything that keeps going on that we become sort of numb. Just something about his piece and melodies in Sal's piece, I think, are like they stick with me. When you hear it, I don't know if you're playing. Are you playing a little bit of it?
We're gonna play it right after this. Like we're gonna go into the top. Actually, you know what? Can you sing like 3 lines from it really quick?
Nadie ves, nadie ves, nadie siente. Grito al sol, vuelve el mar.
Perfect. So that's you're about to hear Daniel. He's gonna attempt to do it as beautifully as you, right? And so she's gonna be here. She's gonna be with us on the 5th, by the way. So that's why you have to be there, because you need to see this woman in person, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. She's dancing. She's singing. Like okay. Wait. Talking about contribution, right? We needed a good front woman, and I told you I got her, and she again was like super down for the project. Don't look at the video because I don't want you to spoil it for when you go to the 5th. But there's a video of our first performance, and she's just tearing it up on stage, man. Like just annihilating, like just dancing, like, and we're all just standing there playing. Like you see the the horn players moving back and forth. We're like yeah. But then she's over here like boom boom, like just complete energy. So I'm gonna play 2 sections. No, I'm just kidding. I love that you did that. It was really cool. So, I can't dance, so I can't really say anything. But we're gonna play 2 parts. We're gonna play. Where did I put my brushes? Okay, they're right there. We're gonna play the beginning of This one's titled Origen y Evolución, the origin and the evolution. So again, it starts with a folkloric kind of danza, kind of 3/4 lamenting sort of thing where Giselle is singing these lyrics. And so we're just going to start right when that begins. There's a vamp at the beginning. We're going to skip that. We're going to start right there just so you can hear it.
Slow you back. Just to begin.
All right, ready? Oh, sorry. So that's the beginning, right? That's the beginning there. That's that first section. Sorry, this is still on, right? Y'all can hear me? Okay, cool. Then we go into a bomba and a plena right after that. So we start with, how about this? I actually want to ask Orlando. Orlando, what is a bomba and what is a plena? What are the differences between the two?
Okay, the bomba got like the heritage of the African in the island when the slavery, everything happened over there, and they go through the slaves from Haiti to Maya West, that is the west side, where I grew up over there. And the bomba was originally in Maya West. People, they don't know that or they don't talk about it, but yeah, started Maya West, the west, and then went to Lois Aldea in Puerto Rico, that it was a community there, a lot of African. And it started over there with a lot of rhythms surrounding the bomba. Bomba is like when you say, we say rock, but what kind of rock? Oh, rock is how you say, classic rock or this and that. But bomba is the concept. So we got sika, juba, holandés, and cuembe, and keep going. So right now we're gonna do a bomba sika, and the difference about plena is like in the south, Ponce, in the south that I born. This is more the mix of the we call the criollo, the one that is a mix of everything. So they got the kind of how you call it, tamborin, panderetas, or the and we start doing like every time we say plena, because it was the moon was plenty. Every time it was a moon, because it was not like energy company or nothing. It was like plenty moon, and they go out to the batey or something to have a party because they got the plenty of the moon. So that's the origin. Plena is more like our guys in Puerto Rico, like a mix. So the other bomba is Africa.
So what we're gonna do is first it's just gonna be the rhythm section. We're gonna demonstrate the bomba, and then we're gonna go to the plena, and that's when the horns are gonna come in with a soli. Ba 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 ba. So this is, measure 93, but we're gonna do the bomba first. Don't play measure 93 yet. Okay. So see, this is again musician talk. Like I'm letting them know where we are, but Orlando is just gonna hear it. You know what I mean? He doesn't need the music. So let's start with the bomba, just us. Boom 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 boom. I'm gonna speed it up a little, right? So, dun, 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 dun. Now it's gonna turn into the plena. So Nelson's bass line changes, right? Dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. So, not yet, not yet. Well, actually, yeah, play. You already started. Play. Go. 1, And you'll hear the similarities between this and modern day merengue, right? Sorry for stopping so abruptly, but you get the idea. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to play the rest of it because it's super cool, and Nelson does something super cool, but don't tell them. He switches instruments. You have to guess. But, that's why you got to come on the 5th. Again, you got to come on the 5th. Get the whole thing. So, yeah, even me, I'll be honest, too. I haven't been really shedding these particular grooves, so I'm kind of like getting back into it. Orlando, I had a lesson with Orlando, and he had showed me, the correct, really, accurate ways, because I haven't talked about it really yet, but being a drummer, right, I'm trying to emulate all of these other instruments on the drums, right, because they have guira, right? The guiro.
And there's two different guiros. Guiro Cuba, Guicharo Dominican, Guicharo Puerto Rican, and Guira Dominican. It's a difference between the three, but that's another story.
So I switched between, first I was doing there's a cowbell variation with the cowbell. You can do it faster.
There's like 3 panderos in plena. There's a big one that go with it. There is a middle one that it's like a bass, mid-range, and high, right? In the 2 panderetas, like panderos. And then one goes like this. And the other one go like this. The middle one, the mid-range, go like this. And the little one, the quinto, is the one that talks. I go. And then the 3 together sound like this. And that's the whole ensemble of the 3 hand drums on the plena.
So really, what I was trying to do is just add a little bit, and at the end there I showed because me as a drummer, I'm thinking, okay, how can I emulate that sound? So of the guira specifically, the guiro, sorry, guicharo. So you know what I mean? Because it's kind of doing its own thing. So I don't do it typically, but that's why at the end I was. It's not perfect, you know what I mean? But it's like close enough that I can try to kind of emulate it, but nothing comes close to the real ensemble, like the real plena ensemble sound. Right. I had to figure out a way to kind of consolidate it. So let's see. Yeah, let's move on. Let's go to What's Behind Your Eyes. I want to go to that one. Let's go to What's Behind Your Eyes because I want to talk about the joropo, the Venezuelan joropo style of music. So we're skipping through some stuff. And then I'll have Giselle talk about this. I'm also checking my Mac battery. All right, we're chilling. So What's Behind Your Eyes, right? This was written by Daniel. the last one was written by Sal, and of course I know he'd love to talk about it if he was here. So this one's written by Daniel, and I want to hear, what was your inspiration for it, and why did you call it What's Behind Your Eyes?
So, the reason it's called What's Behind Your Eyes is because I felt like it was like a somewhat devious song. It felt like there was something mysterious about it. And like I could not come up with a name for the life of me. But I was like, well, what if I just call it What's Behind Your Eyes? Because, I mean, sometimes you don't know. You never really know what someone is thinking, you know? So that's why I decided to call it What's Behind Your Eyes. So this song is in 3/4. I thought of like, so this is kind of like a joropo, but you could also say it's like a Venezuelan waltz. It's inspired by Venezuelan music. The thing about this song is that I come from a jazz background, but I also come from a Venezuelan background. So it's really like a amalgamation of both styles combined. Because there's certain stuff drums do. You know, something I've noticed is that you can hear the differences with like the Latin styles, but it's like always hard to like really explain it, at least to someone that's like that's not very musically inclined, but they can hear the difference. Like for example, my mom, like she doesn't really know much about music, but if I show her a joropo, she's like, oh, that's a joropo. If I show her a Venezuelan waltz, she's like, oh, that's a Venezuelan waltz. If I show her a salsa, she's like, that's a salsa. So it's like it's really interesting how these things end up working out and how like you can really tell the difference.
And I also wanted to say that with the joropo style, I actually had never heard that. I had only heard of a chacarera, which is also from South America, Venezuela, and there's another nation that contributed. I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But it's like the pulse is in 3, but it's kind of like and the joropo ensemble is straight up like literally harps and guitars strumming and so it's not really, it's completely different. It's in 3, right? You can count to 6, but it's a completely different feel than the Afro-Cuban or the native 6/8. Right.
So a fun fact, like the reason why it's so fast is because joropo is really referring to a party. So it's like it's a little history lesson. Joropo used to be called fandango because joropo came about during while Venezuela was colonized by Spaniards, and they were trying to mimic like what the Spanish would do when they're celebrating. So this music is really just like trying to celebrate something. Or like a party. It's just a party. It's just a party. Like, honestly, that's what it is. So it's really funny when you see people dancing joropo. It's like their legs are swinging everywhere. I mean, my mom once told me that if you went to a joropo party, like, there'd be dust all over the place because they're dancing on the sand and stuff. So it was really cool. But what's interesting about my piece is that it's kind of in a minor key. It's not very, very happy. But joropos are generally happy. So it's like, you know, this is where the jazz element comes in and where everything starts coming in together.
So let's try it. This one also has lyrics, and I want to talk to Giselle about them after we play a little bit. I just want to get this in. Nelson, you can start. So as you can see, it starts with bass intro, but it's not fast yet, right? a lot more. There's a lot more to that. A lot more to that, like everything else. And I actually, yeah. Let's go. Can we go a little bit further in the lyrics? Like, yeah, if yeah, right there, right there, right there, right there. I think so. Actually, go back one. I'm sorry. Go back one. This is the vamp. So we're right here. If you can see, Giselle, can you kind of explain what was your vibe behind this one? Again, she wrote the lyrics. I think she consulted Daniel about some of them, right?
I gave her,
Complete creative liberty, right? Because again, we were all super like, that's part of the group, man. Is like you gotta delegate work. So she was doing a lot of that. Just like, if it sounded fine, everything sounded perfect. Honestly, I don't think I really had to change anything ever. But she was super open to us even changing her lyrics if we wanted something different, So anyway, what was your thoughts? Well, when you were creating this, Giselle?
Yeah, so like the last one I had, the person was screaming at the sky, sort of like why is this happening? I don't know if you've gone out dancing and you're dancing salsa music, right? The fact that this is in minor definitely sort of put my brain in a different way, but you can go out salsa dancing and you're having a good time, and just because you're dancing, sometimes you listen to the lyrics like, oh my gosh, this is very dark. This is actually incredibly sad. Oh my God, this is political. So the fact that like this is moving and there's a lot happening, there was still like a sadness that I'm inclined to write. And so it's like, this person in my mind has seen a lot, has gone through a lot. There's a saying in Cuba that my family would say, like, things are so bad, you just have to laugh and dance. Like there's, what else are you going to do? So I felt like, despite all this that is happening in my song, there's still, that's what's left. And so like, there's still like a little bit of hope, with music. So there, at the end, it's like, sing my people. And by the end, I'm sort of like, it's not even chanting. It's sort of like yelling, sing. I get louder and louder and louder. It starts off kind of quiet, and then the frustration builds and builds and builds in the piece. But yeah, that's kind of where I went. It was just more of an aggressive, it got more and more aggressive. And I pictured this person who's just seen so much and has been broken, and an older person. But then when they feel the music, that's where the hope is.
Right. So that's that, and right there, that part, she starts really building. It goes from 0 to 100, crazily in that short section. It's a very cool effect. So anyway, before we go to the next one, I think that we probably have about like 10 minutes left, 15 minutes left. So what I want to do is, I want to talk a little bit about some of the other stuff. How did everyone contribute to the group, and how do we contribute to each other's tunes? So, I already kind of spoke about that a little bit, but Daniel, how would you say that you contributed to the group? Because we're still going to play a little bit more, and we're still going to talk a little bit more, but I just want to get this out of the way first.
Well, I did write like 2 of these pieces, so I was one of the composers. And I like to think that I probably helped out mostly, like Diego did mostly everything, let's be honest. But, he took care of more general stuff. I tried taking care of more of the horns. We even had a sectional.
Mm-hmm.
Did it go well, Rob? Oh, okay.
Wait, let's hear Rob's thoughts.
What were your thoughts on my sectional?
Oh, I mean, it was good. The 4 of us have actually played a decent amount together at UCF, so we knew how to work together. And I think we met up. How long did we work? Like an hour, maybe. Yeah, we got through everything real quick, and it was good.
And another thing, I wrote these charts, but it was actually Robert who I would usually come to if I had like some issue or if I couldn't figure something out. And of course, he always knew how to help me out. So there's that. But I think I mostly, anytime Diego had like some thought on something, I think you would usually come to me, or like just tell me what you think about something.
Yeah, and we would call and talk about it. Can you give the microphone to Nelson? I want to hear his thoughts about it too.
What did I contribute?
Yeah. Let's besides not only the house, right? But there was more to that. And how
Obviously, yes, I'm the.
And what were your thoughts about the project too?
Well, apart from contributing my home, I think I contributed a lot with foundation in a musical aspect. The bass, the drums. As much as drummers want to say they are the foundation, they are not. It's the bass player.
I
That's the
agree with that. I agree with
the
that.
bass player plays, the harmonic foundation. So practically, that's kind of why I sit in the middle a lot, because I kind of keep the band right there. If I'm doing my job correctly, I keep the band right there. And then also, I feel like I was able to contribute a lot of the knowledge of the Puerto Rican music. I'm very Puerto Rican, like Orlando, the Calle. But I was able to, since I was a kid, I was raised listening to bomba plena before I listened to anything else. So even though now I'm a jazz bass player at heart, I started playing congas at like 3 years old before I could even talk. So I was able to do that, and I think the project was fantastic. I had never had the opportunity to play such great music with such young guys. It's a blessing to be able to, be in a community where, you could have a guy whose last name is Schmidt play Latin music so
Robert
good.
Schmidt or Pacheco?
Now
Yeah.
it's honorary Pacheco.
RJ
But,
Pacheco.
I think this project is definitely something I will hold close to my heart, because being able to play the music of my home with such talented musicians at such a high level, I think is, something that I'm very appreciative of.
And that's awesome to hear.
Yes, one thing that I want to say is that, remember, this is not a folkloric band. This is not a gaita band or bomba plena, or this is jazz. This is a fusion. This is a Latin jazz band. So we use these elements, to create this band, Origen. So, but in a jazz concept too. It's not, don't. Is somebody gonna sing you because, oh, that's a bomba? No, we're not bomba group or nothing. He got his influence of jazz. I got the folkloric. Everybody got, it's a contribution of different, skills, foundations, everything.
So I agree with all that, and I'm glad for the input from all these guys. There's two more things. The first thing is I wanted to show the visual art aspect. So I want to invite my dad up here, Armando Rivera. When I heard I needed visual artists, I'm like, I didn't even really think about it. I was just like, oh, who am I gonna get to do visual art? Well, the artist that I know. My dad, my whole life. There's art all around the house. There's art. You've been to my house.
I've been to your house.
He's seen the art everywhere. He
It's
was
crazy.
an artist. For his entire life, still is to this day. So I was like, Dad, I'm gonna give you the responsibility. Like, just come up with something. You know what I mean? And he just was spitballing ideas at me because I was like, I can't deal with that right now. You know what I mean? I couldn't really think. In addition to everything, also adding on a visual art aspect. So can you hold this up? This right here, well, actually, why don't you talk to the people? Tell them, what did you decide to do after I gave you that task of being the visual artist? Well, besides everything here, by the way, all of that is him. All of that are scans of his artwork. Every single thing. And un apuro. We don't have time to play that one, but this is another. I know, I'm bad. But I forgot which one this is. I think this is for the. I forgot which one this is for, but this is all scans of his artwork that I sent to have the lyrics on, and also be the vibe of the song. Each of them is different. Cayuco, there you go. Like, it's very colorful. He understood what I was asking. So can you kind of explain what was your thought process behind, how did you come up with what you were gonna do, including this, and explain this too?
Well, when we got the notification that Diego was going to be the artist in Resonant, and there was this big project with a short time of execution. After the congratulations on, then he's like, okay, so how is gonna happen? What is what is the project? It was for a Latin Jazz Week, and
we were coming up with the music at the same time, by the way. Like as he was working,
Yeah.
we were the project wasn't done.
as soon as he said it's a Latin jazz kind of thing, I said, then title. What the project needs to have we need to ID the concept, the idea. And we came in the living room, we threw some names, what do you think about this? And Origen came into fruition, origins, because we're talking Latin jazz, like Orlando said. So we're here, in a music lab, and we need the origins of the Latin, the Latin part, and it's immense.
Trying to be as authentic as possible because there's a
Yeah.
lot. I've never heard in my life, like in a jazz group yet. Again, I'm still young, but I hadn't heard Plena yet. I heard Planealo, which is the group that literally is like a Plena group. So I was like, wait, hold up. What I want to put that in this because that's an important pillar of Latin music in Puerto Rico specifically.
And the second thing that happened, and it was very organic. That's the amazing thing, when you got such a talented group, and that he knew he was in contact with them. But the first name that it came into my head was Orlando. I said, Diego, my advice, give him a call and start brainstorming. And from there, everything, the singer, Orlando provided, so everything, every part. I know all these guys from UCF, from Flying Horse, so I knew that Diego, will pick the best of the best. And I always, when I was looking at them before the project, couple of years before going to the concerts, each of them, and I will talk to them and say, man, these young guys are excellent, are talented, are high level. So I didn't tell Diego. Diego then started sampling everything. So the idea was, okay, so let's pick Origen. And from there,
It was the logo first, the background of the logo.
The logo first, and we know the Origen, the Origen of that slave trade that brought people in slavery,
And
Africans.
We put Taino Sun.
From different parts, the Tainos, the indigenous people and population, that they got their own culture, their own music, and we know what happened. So the Origen wasn't happy, it wasn't like La La Land, and Christopher, Columbus came and we got a big party. It was from that moment that Europe made contact. It was blood, it was tears, it was suffering, and through all that suffering, something prevailed. The roots, the music, the instruments, the feeling and the spirit of through suffering. Let's do music,
And so after all of this, during the performance that we had, I'm just going to talk through this really quick because I want to play one more thing for you guys before we go. My dad, I have all these old drum heads, right, laying around. Instead of throwing them out, my dad has repurposed them and made a collaborative art effort between not only the band members, but outside of the White House, right outside.
Yeah,
what did you do?
I thought, after the show, it was the first, I saw the first time that they played, and I felt the energy. So I said, wow, I don't know, but I think that this is going to be a good show, it's a good vibe. So I said, you know what, maybe besides doing the images and doing the artwork for each song, and it was very fast, and I will throw thoughts to Diego, and then he will contact, hey, what you mean by this, and the title, and the music. I started coming and brainstorming like real quick. It wasn't sitting and then stretching the idea. It was like, you know what, let's do some modern, urban graffiti, that they are more connected, and let's mix it up with more free form colors, and let's work on, let's see what comes up. Jazzing, like jazzing in terms of art.
So what happened with the one that's in your hand?
So this one, I said, well, at the end of the show, let's see if we can translate the vibe of the people coming out of the show and the musicians after having a good show and being on a high. So I provide the medium, the colors, the palette, and then I make musicians and the public that participate, that we're all high, and happy coming out. And I said, you know what, let's do some artwork right now so we can hone the energy. And they work, we got plenty of drum heads. And this one I really like. This was between the musicians and the people that participate. And they were
Everyone
having
applied a
fun.
color, right?
They will hold it like this, and then they will pick up colors and throw it, and then liquid art. But it came like a seascape, like a big wave, sky, and very peaceful and energetic. And that we were not expecting, because we don't know what it was going to show up, the image, but I was impressed. I was like, whoa, they channeled something there, and they got there's other ones, and each one was very particular, unique, and you could see that the music made them open themselves and enjoy when they went out. So it was like a amalgam, mix of creativity, music, instruments, different songs, and then art. So
And that's just one of many.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you. I want to thank my dad for the contribution he made, and it was just very cool. And I think that it perfectly it was like a good ending to the project. It was like, what is everyone feeling, and how are you going to express that through a visual art? So the last thing, let me see. The last thing we're going to do really quick, we're going to play a tune. Gingerbread Boy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Because we don't have much time left. I wanted to do collective improvisation, but what we're going to do is there's a tune composition by Jimmy Heath titled Gingerbread Boy. And what I did was I wrote, this arrangement is older than this group, but I wrote an arrangement of this piece, and I wanted to do this to show that with jazz standards or any tune, any melody, anything, you can change the rhythm and kind of Latinify it, turn it Latin, right? So what this is an arrangement of Gingerbread Boy in 9/8. And so we're all gonna play it right now, and this is, we just all learned this arrangement actually today. So we're just gonna see. Let's see what this is part of it. This is part of it. You got a time constraint. Hey guys, I want to play this. Can we do it? All right, let's do it. So, yeah, I don't need the music. It's my tune. So I'm gonna count it off, and this will be the last thing. Also, this art specifically was made by my friend Vladimir Morvin. This is actually the single art because I'm gonna be releasing the recording of this song soon. I'll probably announce some more details about that at the show next week. So I hope to see you there, and this is Gingerbread Boy. That's all. You'll be able to hear that. That wasn't the full thing. Again, that was part of it, and the rest of it. Please come out to the concert next week. Thank you.